You know, I hate calling the police.
Honey, it's like you said, Teresa has left us with no other choice. She has barricaded herself in her room. She refuses to hand over Jane. You and Pilar, even Martin, you all tried to reason with her, but as usual, she refuses to listen to reason. Okay, you have to call the police because there's no way Teresa's gonna hand over Jane without a fight.
I know. I just think calling the police is harsh.
Harsh? Ethan, what Teresa said to us earlier was harsh. Blaming this whole thing on me being barren and you feeling guilty for marrying me because you really love her? That girl has no shame. Teresa does not know the difference between right and wrong. All she cares about is getting her own way. And when she doesn't get her own way, this is exactly what happens.
I was just hoping we could settle this a little more peacefully, that's all.
Hello? Ethan, we tried to be civil with her. She physically attacked me when you were trying to reason with her. Okay? Hopefully the police will make Teresa realize that she has to hand over Jane. And you know what? If she's not going to do it, then they're just going to have to arrest her for violating a judge's order.
I just wish there was another way, that's all.
Well, there isn't. There isn't, because once again, she has forced her hand.
I know. All right. I'll do it. I'll call the police.
Lopez Fitzgerald.
Luis, it's Ethan. Listen, Gwen and I need your help.
What for?
Well, we have a little situation over at Pilar's. Look, I don't know if you heard, but Gwen and I have been granted temporary custody of Jane.
I heard.
Well, we came over to get Jane, and Teresa has locked herself in her room, much in the same way that she did with little Ethan over at the mansion a little while back, and she's refusing to give Jane up.
And you tried talking to her?
Yeah, till I'm blue in the face. Luis, I was gonna call the police and have them come and force her to hand her over, but if they get involved, she'll probably get arrested, and I really don't want to go that route. And I was thinking, you being her brother and a police detective, that you could help us out with this.
Yeah, I'd like to. It's just, kind of in the middle of a difficult situation right now.
Wait a minute, is that Ethan? Is Gwen with him? Is this about Jane?
Hold on. Ethan and Gwen went over to my mother's house to get custody of Jane, and Teresa won't let them take her.
You need to go over there and help them. I'll come with you.
What about us?
We'll talk about us later, but right now our friends and our family need you.
I need you. And I need for us to be okay.
Like I said, we'll talk about this later. I promise.
Ethan, Sheridan and I will be right over.
But after we talk, I can't promise anything.
Yeah, you sure you're okay with me calling Luis instead of the police?
Honey, if it avoids a bigger scene than Teresa's already caused, then I'm all for it. You know, of course, Teresa's too selfish to realize the potential trauma she's inflicting on Jane and little Ethan by acting this way.
That's why I'm hoping he'll get through to her. He's her brother, and he's a cop as well. Hey, thanks for coming.
I'm so glad you could be here too, of course.
I'm sorry to bother you with this, but if anybody can convince Teresa to give the baby up, I think it's you.
Well, I'll do my best.
Oh, Luis.
Huh.
Sheridan.
Yeah, just came to talk to Teresa.
Well, good luck, son. We've all tried and gotten nowhere.
And why would she listen to you?
Luis, please, not now, okay? Ethan, thank you for calling Luis instead of the police department.
I don't want to hurt Teresa. I just don't want this thing to get any worse than it already is.
Oh, you've been more than considerate to Teresa.
Yeah, all the good it's done, huh?
Gwen, I understand you're upset, and yours too, Ethan. I'm upset as well, but I'm not blind to why it's come to this. You know, Teresa sometimes can be her own worst enemy, just like she's doing now.
I mean, let's just hope that Luis can get through to her.
Ethan, I can see how hard this is for you.
Sheridan, I hate taking Jane away from Teresa. The way she's been behaving lately, she's been vindictive, she's been cruel to Gwen. I honestly think that Jane's better off with us right now, at least for the time being.
I understand, but this has to be especially hard for you since you're still in love with Teresa.
told you that?
No one had to tell me. Ethan, when you and Teresa came to the hospital after I was buried alive, I could tell right then and there how true your love seemed, how deep and lasting it was. And even though you're with Gwen now, I know a part of you still loves Teresa. And I know this has to be tearing you apart, to be taking your daughter away from her.
Sheridan, it is. I don't like hurting her. But there's no denying that she has hurt Gwen. And me. Teresa's role in Sarah's death and stealing her embryo and tricking me into getting her pregnant with Jane? All of these things have led up to where we are right now.
Well, hopefully Luis can end this stalemate over Jane.
That's why I called him. But, you know, I'm starting to think that no matter what happens now, it's just going to lead to more problems. And I wonder if this fighting is ever going to stop. Well, Luis better get through to Teresa, because one way or another, we are taking Jane with us, Gwen.
Yeah, I knew she would try to pull some stunt like this, but for some reason you thought things would be different this time.
Yeah, I thought they would be.
I mean, why, really? Why? Because Teresa never does the right or fair thing. I mean, Teresa does what Teresa wants with no regard for anyone else.
Gwen, please don't take this the wrong way, but I mean, I can understand Teresa's reluctance.
Okay, you've got to be kidding me here, Sheridan. He's always defending her, and now you are too?
No, I'm just saying that I can understand how painful it is to have your child taken away.
Well, so do I. Have you forgotten that I lost 2 children because of Teresa, along with any chance of ever having a child of my own? So as for this pain over us having temporary custody of Jane, I understand that Teresa is hurting, I do. But this is all her fault. Because this is what you get when you steal people's embryos. This is what you get when you trick a married man into sleeping with you and getting you pregnant. This is what you get when you refile charges against that man's wife and refuse to drop them. So please spare me the whole, I'm so sorry for Teresa. Teresa's in so much pain crap, because she's getting exactly what she deserves. And let's not forget that Jane is also Ethan's child. And Jane would have been my daughter if Teresa hadn't tried to rip apart our marriage yet again with yet another one of her crazy schemes. So am I sorry that Teresa's hurting? No, I am sorry that Teresa never learns from her mistakes.
Gwen, I'm so sorry. I can sympathize with both of you. This situation is beyond difficult.
Well, there would be no situation at all if it weren't for Teresa.